Okay, everybody. Good morning to you. I am Elise as Another Truth on YouTube. My voice is going in and out. Hopefully I can get through this without coughing. My coughing has subsided considerably. And yes, I've tested negative for all those things. I just have the vestigial nonsense that happens after a flu virus. Today is going to be a very difficult video to get through. I'm deciding whether I should publish a whole video with the Browns' grief and situation and Katie Joy in one video. In my opinion, that doesn't even deserve to be together. I don't want to sensationalize the Browns' suffering or anything like that. I do have some feelings about it, but they're respectful and kind. And then after I do that, I'll talk about Katie Joy, and that's when it'll seem like I'm turning into a completely different person. I'm just warning you about that. And I will talk about my own experience with suicidality. And yes, I will be using the word suicide, suicidality, dying by suicide. I will talk about survivorship. I will talk about Katie Joy and my hatred for her at this point. So very strong words. I have them as fighting words. I will be swearing in this. So I'm just going to go with my emotions. It's one of those mornings. But I want to give you an out in case any of these things trigger you. Please, please, I beg you. If you are triggered by this, if you will get a flashback, if you'll become sad, you're worried, please do not watch this because I don't want anything to happen to you. I don't want anything to happen to you. I'm serious. I want you to have your best life. And if you feel that way, please refer to the links in my description so you can have those numbers on hand if you don't have them already. 988 is a good start. I used that this past holiday season once. It was very helpful for me, but I will give there will be a number of options in case you need to reach out to somebody. And if you are in therapy, I suggest also you refer to any protocol you might have set up with your therapist. I have that set up in case there is a problem in the future. Nobody has to worry about anything with me. I am okay even if I'm not okay sometimes, okay? You never have to worry about me. But I want you to take good care of yourselves. Worry about yourselves. And I know that hating somebody, it takes everything out of you. I know it takes it out of me to hate someone I've never met. I question my own character. I question my own boundary in this. Why do I even bother to do this? But I think it's important to address it. Plus, I appreciate dunking on Katie's nonsense every now and then. But now I'm going after the person who she presents herself as. So I might be crossing a boundary there, but I'm not inviting anyone to harm her or to cause any problems for her directly because she has a child at home. Yeah, she's not going to win Mother of the Year, obviously, but whatever, we're not her. We're making false reports against her and upsetting her family and and forcing families to relocate themselves. Okay? We act differently. because we know the consequences and the impact it would have on the community and the family for that. So I'm happy to know that my community does not behave in that way. So, but I want to remind, don't do it. Please don't do it. Okay, we've established that. I don't follow the Brown family and sister wives. Uh, I have some opinions about polygamy, but at the same time, I feel like it's none of my business. Um, there was somebody in my life who um, she was far from fundamentalist, but she saw it as a more of a community way of raising children, and that can be done without having the control of one figurehead and applying a religion to it or whatever. But I don't know. Listen, however you set up your family, if your children's emotional and physical needs are met, they're loved, they're taken care of, they know who they can depend on, it's entirely up to you. I'm not going to dunk on the Brown situation or their story. I don't really know a lot about it. I get glimpses of Cody not kind of being an absentee father or not being a supportive father. And maybe he doesn't think of his role as a father is that important. It doesn't matter. Okay, Janelle and Cody together lost their child tragically. The young man was only 25. It would have been sad even if the person was 75, because people deserve to live their whole lives, in my opinion. That's the way it should be. And I can only imagine what it was like for Garrison's little brother to find him in that situation. There are a lot of people who are sharing their stories with their experiences and how people never really actually get over that. I hope with love and community support, um, they'll heal. We never know what really goes on in a family. What they present to us as in a reality TV show is such a distortion of reality that I wouldn't get hung up on that. We don't know what's going on. And even if there were family complications, there are a lot of families that are complicated. And I'm not saying that people should get away with their bad behavior toward their kids or toward their family members or anything like that. But this isn't the time to do that, because it may not have even been the case. The fact is, entire families here lost a child. Janelle and Brown lost a child. Okay? It's affecting that whole family. Not, of course, the parents principally, but that whole family's affected in one way or another, in whatever experiences that are going on. Because I don't want to negate anybody's experiences. Died by suicide in that way is so tragic. Now, I'm not talking about what people refer to as assisted dying or anything like that. I'm talking about this type of ending, and I don't know what was going on in Garrison's mind. I don't know what was going on with that man. And he was a young man. I don't know what he was thinking, what pain he was enduring. Could have been mental illness, long-term mental illness. It could have been anything. It could have been trauma from being in the public so much. I could have been anything. Okay, I'm not blaming anybody here. I'm just saying we don't know. We don't know. And I think for people to talk about that as if that was the reason. They're forgetting that people lost a family member. And this not only affects their family and their community, it affects all of us anytime we hear something like this. Because a lot of us have either lost somebody to it, or we ourselves have considered it, or attempted it. And it's very triggering. It's very sad. And my heart fully, regardless of what's going on, goes out to that family. And in time, as with everything else, you might get some confirmation of something. But I will tell you by experience, it's a lot more complicated than just explaining it away. I'll tell you that. And I appreciate that people have spoken up and said, this is not the time to capitalize on this. This is the time to show some mercy, some kindness on this family. And it's okay to talk how certain situations increase the likelihood of suicide in a different type of video, in a different educative setting, because that is important. That's something that should never be excluded from the topic of discussion. But to mix it in with the family who's grieving this, I don't know, it's so distasteful. It's so wrong. I will say that now I'm going into Katie Joy now. And what Katie Joy has done is one of the most despicable things she could have done. Well, I mean, sending people out and getting people to threaten her critics is pretty horrifying itself. Now, Katie Joy is a professional, in my opinion, Katie Joy is a professional nobody. Now I'm attacking her now. I'm attacking her character, okay? I'm going to do a lot of ad homing here. And throw a lot of ad hominems. So Katie Joy is a professional nobody who gossips and capitalizes on the suffering of others. She's been virtually abusing this family for months. Okay, not really understanding what is going on, in my opinion. Now, like I said, I'm not a religious person at all. I'm an atheist and all that. But people have a right to believe in God or not believe in God. It's their constitutional right. Okay? It's their constitutional right. And that seems to escape Katie's mind. All right? Katie wants to control everything that she really doesn't understand. There's not a lot of depth to what she's saying and conveying in any of these situations. She doesn't even step in the shoes of that person. She targets people because of their faith. She targets people because there is a patriarch. Listen, it's okay to attack the patriarchy as far as I'm concerned. But you do that in a different way with all the facts. Okay? Katie Joy, in my opinion, has no reverence whatsoever for this family. At least have the decency to take a break from it till you get all the facts. And not capitalize on the horrible death of a young person. Okay. Like I said, she is a professional nobody. She adds nothing of value, of meaning to the conversation. It's all superficial. Okay. There's no gray area in discussing anything with Katie Joy. No gray area at all. No sense of human connection, no sense of human rights, no sense of a universal decency we all should have. Okay. Um, what she did was abominable, and I only listened to one of the videos when she first reported it. I listened to something in the second video and I had to stop. In my opinion, she doesn't care about the death of this child, of this young man. I look at Garrison as a child because I have a child close to his age, and my child who's close to his age is also close to his brother's age. Okay, that's the only commonality that we have. So I'm not trying to get into their lives or anything, but I can understand from that perspective. Katie Joy, you would think by Katie Joy being a mother, she would understand that, but she's a shitty mother. Okay, she really is a shitty mother. She doesn't have any connection with anybody. And that's a psychological problem that she could work through in therapy if she wanted to make better decisions. And yes, that is harsh. And I don't know what goes on in her family. I am judging her. But there's something missing there in that connection. I don't care if the young man is 25. It's off limits, in my opinion. It's off limits. Katie doesn't care if how this young man passed away. She doesn't care about his brother who found him. She doesn't care about suicide at all. It's a ruse for her. She's in a lot of personal trouble, as it seems, at least legally, because of the things that she says, not because of not paying her own bills and stuff. I don't really care about that. But it's from the stuff that she says and does to other people that puts them in peril, that ruins them, that, all those things. Katie Joy, in my opinion, was involved in that whole thing with Renelle Smith and Katie Rabbit. In my opinion, she was behind that whole thing, or she was connected to it. She was encouraging people to report Katie Rabbit. She brings down the Duggar women. She tries to force them back into isolation, blames them for the things that their father has made choices about, has done. She's trying to tear down their businesses because she thinks that they're funneling Jim Bob's empire. She talks about wanting people out of cults. She doesn't care about people in cults. She has no fucking expertise whatsoever. She has no understanding of what people go through. She has put people in dangerous situations, very dangerous situations, where people's lives are threatened. Okay, she may not have done that herself, but she encouraged that. All this bullshit talk that she has now, it's because she's facing a lot of trouble, so she's trying to establish a cleaner look. I mean, she's a total bitch on Instagram because if she were to do that on YouTube, she would be flagged. Okay? So yeah, I mean, there are two ass clowns, two Katie ass clowns, Instagram ass clown, Facebook ass clown. I don't say that to be funny because I don't know how else do I describe this woman and her behavior. I want to say so many things right now. Now, like I said, I'm not encouraging anything. um, I'm just giving my opinion. But Katie Joy is an evil, self-centered, vapid cunt of a human being who has no respect, no consideration, no love for anybody else. She will use the passing of a young one. She will use every tool on hand to make lives miserable for others because she is a hateful, awful fucking human being. Disgusting, reprehensible fucking loser. A fucking loser. She's a fucking loser. And if that makes me sad that I'm calling another woman a loser. But she is a loser. And I just try to talk about Katie's behavior, but you know what? Katie's behavior is an extension of Katie Joy. Excuse me. She had no right to even make any insinuation about how this happened whatsoever. She doesn't know. She doesn't know the damage she's causing to other people who have suffered, who are suffering through suicidal ideation, suicidality, mental illness, trauma, whatever. Katie doesn't give a fuck if you suffer or not. I'm being restrained. I mean, I said a lot, but I could feel my heart rate going up, and I've got to be careful. Um, Katie should have kept her fucking Botoxed flappers shut until the time was right to talk about it. And it would have been a golden opportunity to talk about life-saving measures to help people in this situation to understand. Um, but she doesn't care. She's using this young man's death to line her own pockets, to bring shock value to what she talks about. And I wouldn't be surprised if she's happy something bad happened to Cody Brown, even if it means his son dies by suicide. And I will say that because she's a cunt. This topic is personally triggering for me because I've had to grapple with suicidal ideation myself. I have a borderline personality disorder. I have mood disorder, things like that. I do not use my survivorship as a way to say I made it because I don't believe, like, I'm glad I'm alive. I'm fortunate. I'm grateful for that. But it doesn't make my life more important than somebody who's left their world by suicide. We need to respect everybody's experiences and and reach out and take care of people in whatever capacity that is, whether it's to show support through a video, whether it's to volunteer, whether it's to tell a friend, hell, hey, call 988 if you ever get in the situation. Talk to your kids about it. Talk to your kids about it. I recently had a conversation with one of my kids. He's he's a gay man, and he experiences a lot of harassment. And sometimes it gets, it gets to him. And of course, we have a family history of mental illness. And he's also had to grow up with a mentally ill mother, me. Um, so there are things that I gave him some hotlines that if he ever felt that he should call these hotlines, that his experiences matter, keeping an open dialogue as much as possible. Sometimes I think it helps. I think that, like, for LGBTQ kids, for one example, if they have at least one adult in their life who believes in one person in their life who believes in them, their chances of developing good coping strategies with things and um, surviving increase. I want to say that delicately. I'm sorry. I'm so indelicate in my statement, but that's true. And my son doesn't have to worry. He has a lot of emotional support, but everybody should have that, whatever situation they're in. Whatever the situation they're in, people need to know that they're worth it. They need to know that they have value in this world. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm coughing. Um, Lucky I have my hot drink here. I think, this is a good time that we come together as a community and try to be supportive. I don't know how to reach out to the Browns and express my condolences and extend my care or anything like that, but they have it because they're going through a lot, and that goes